Blues!
Woo!
Blues! Blues!
Got it done, dude. They got it done.
Here's the deal. I figured it out while I was in the shower this morning. I figured out why there's two different St. Louis Blues. We have two teams. We have the team that scores early and then stays ahead and dominates the entire game while being outshotted. Is shotted a word? Outshot the entire game.
Kevin, it can be. In our world today, if it isn't a word, just say it hurts your feelings if it's not a word, and then it's a word.
Then it's a word.
Yeah.
It might be a gender.
I like it. Let's stick with it. They're outshotted, I think. Let's do it.
And then you have the other team that gets scored on early and then flails around and continues to get scored on and gets outshot and continues to get scored on and loses in spectacular fashion.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why, in my opinion. And when I say my opinion, I mean I watched a guy on YouTube last night tell me this, and now it's my definitive opinion, like I came up with it.
Yep. That's the way you get opinions, I'm pretty sure.
We play a strong 4-man box defense, apparently. I'm just learning what this is. And with our goalie, what is his name? Bennington.
Bennington.
With Bennington as the key piece to that 4-man box, he's the fifth man. He stops at almost everything. So you can spend an entire hockey game shooting on Bennington. He'll stop 29 out of 30 shots, and you'll spend your entire game shooting on him. And that 4-man box and Bennington will prevent 99% of goals. So what happens is the game plan, and it works almost every time when they pull it off. When the Blues go up early and score quickly, they drop back and play a defensive game for the next 3 periods.
Yep.
And they just let you shoot on them for the entire game. And when I first started watching this season and started watching this Blues team, I couldn't understand why they were so dominant defensively, but they were never shooting. And it was pissing me off. I was like, man, they never, they get outshot like 3-1 or 4-1, and it's pissing me off. But then they would win games. And it took me all the way up until last night's game. Last night's game, I actually started noticing. I was like, they're not sending anybody forward. Once they got that, even once they got, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Once they got that first goal, they slowed down. But once they got that second goal lead in the first period, they never even bothered to chase that puck back into the Bruins zone.
No, they
forced the Bruins to play sloppy, desperate hockey all night long.
They become like a blanket. They get on top and then they just lay and our defense is a really the guys themselves are big guys. We have like a Colton Perico who's like 6'6" without skates on. I know like Petro I think is 6'4". Gunner, there's a bunch of them that are like 6'2", 6'4", and then you got, whenever you have great big guys like that, they got longer sticks, so then they can reach out. They got more wingspan with their arms, but then they have bigger sticks that can reach farther, poke farther. And our defense isn't maybe like the heaviest hitting, but they're just a big, heavy blanket, and a lot of them for their size are fairly fast, And so you're dealing with these big dudes with great big long reach and enough speed to, to catch most people, and to I think we had 3 defensemen this year that had over 10 goals. And that's like pretty hardcore when you have 3 defensemen on a team scoring. That's not assists, that's just goals, double-digit goals. The other thing about the Blues is that when that other team shows up, when the team that's really good shows up and plays, we have one of the most, like, our defense has to be offensively active. That's what makes it, when they're throwing those huge slappers from the blue line And guys are either having to decide, am I going to dive in front of this puck and let it hit me, or am I going to let it get to the goaltender? And then when they do hit the goaltender has a hard time controlling them. And they bounce off of them. That's when
we get those rebound goals.
You get chances to sweep those. They call them dirty goals up into that net. And but if our defense isn't doing that, it's a huge part of our offensive game is our defense.
Yeah, here's the controversial opinion coming up. Are you ready?
Yep.
I think we need new forwards. I don't think Tarasenko is the best man for the job on that defensive team. And I think that when we play desperate offense, he doesn't get the job done, and we play horribly.
Yeah, I also think though that you're not gonna most of the time, man. One guy on a team isn't gonna get it done. You have to have all these different parts. Kind of like it's like a puzzle. You have to have guys like Patty Maroon. That dude's just like a big, strong motherfucker. He's got some really good hands, but he's amazing at holding on to the puck. Getting the puck like back there behind the net and just working. He's not the guy that's going to dangle in front of the net most of the time, and he's not a sniper. But it's if you have a whole team of snipers, it's not going to work. If you have a whole team of grinders, it's not going to work. If you have a whole team of, anything, you have to kind of put together this like potion of all these different parts, and then figure out, how like when they start changing up line, they'll have all their dudes in a line, and if they're not getting what they want, they'll pull a guy out here and put a guy here, and that's trying to see what can we make happen. If we mix this guy with these two guys, even though he doesn't usually play with them, maybe something will come out of it. And Berube, the coach, the interim coach right now, he's been really good at that, about figuring out when we hit like stagnant spots, he'll move things around, and he's been really, really good at pushing the buttons to pull, more offense out where we need it, more defense out where we need it. The really crazy thing to me this year is that the Blues had a really, really kind of stagnant power play, dude. We didn't score many power play goals at all, and most teams that win the cup, a power play is a big important thing. When a dude gets a penalty, you need to capitalize on those. And we did.
That's why I'm saying controversial opinion. I think they need to put some better forwards in there. Yeah, I just don't think they're getting the job. I think we could have been even more dominant had we had better forwards, but maybe that would have thrown the whole thing off. I don't know. Who am I to judge?
There's a lot of people that think that Tarasenko underperforms, a lot of the time, and I can't sit here and say that I don't think he, that he ever maybe. I think sometimes he does underperform, but I also
God bless him in the job he does, and if they keep him, that's fantastic. I'm just saying I would not be at all surprised if we see him traded out.
Yeah, but you also have to think we got some crazy young guns in the minors that are like ready to come in, So I always feel like if you got a young dude like this year, that Robert Thomas, he didn't get to play in these last. He got hurt, I think, in the first game of this series. But that kid's gonna be a monster, dude, a straight monster. He was amazing in the season when he played. He was amazing, and he's I think 19 years old. He was amazing in the series that led up to Boston. He just got hurt in the Boston series. But we got other young dudes too that are ready to crack into this. And so you almost think like, do you let these young dudes come in and see what they got? Because you can usually sign these young dudes to an entry-level deal that doesn't cost you a shitload of calories, like salary cap, and then see how they do. Because if you go out there and get an established motherfucker, you pay for an established motherfucker. You know what I mean? Right. So you got. I kind of hope that we see what's going on with our some of these kids that are ready to come in, because hockey more and more, dude, is a young man's sport.
Absolutely. Another stat that I saw this morning that I hadn't seen before was the St. Louis Blues are one of the only teams that have a record of 25 years in a row of going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was the streak was broken in like 2004 or 2007, but up until then they had gone to the playoffs 25 years in a row.
Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
We were the kings of being kicked out in the first round. We were getting
of getting to the first round and then getting thrown out.
Yep. I think that's.
And I guess don't the majority of teams end up in the first round of the playoffs? Isn't it only the worst of the worst that don't make it to the first round?
I don't really remember the exact number, but I feel like there's definitely more teams that don't make it than do. They have they have that wild card now. I think changed things a few years back when they added a wild card thing, but I mean, just because you get the playoffs, it is hard to get to them. But just because you get to them doesn't really mean anything. You know what I mean? They always say there's like 2 seasons. You got your normal seasons, and then when the playoff starts, it's kind of like everything starts over. You know, you never know. Right. But like this year, the teams that led the league the whole year, Tampa Bay Lightning had like 120 something points this season, which is like bonkers, man. They just dominated, and then they got swept in the first round of the playoffs by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So it's almost like get to the playoffs, and then your season really like kind of almost doesn't matter of how it went before that, you know?
Yeah.
There are a lot of the top seeded teams this year were swept early, you know?
Hockey's a crazy sport, my friend. I'm sure people are really sick and tired of hearing us talk about it right now.
Oh, I'm sure. But yeah, I fucking love hockey, dude. I've watched it since probably like the early 90s, and I'm a diehard hockey dude for sure.
Yeah, it was a surreal night, as bad as they lost the previous game and then came back and just absolutely dominated. It was just a pleasure of a game to watch as a St. Louis fan, because at no point was there any pressure on us.
No.
And we played some real strong defensive hockey, and it was just one of those games that was like there's been a lot of stress all season because the Blues would just barely get there. And just barely get there. And this game was like, just got to relax and have fun the whole time.
Yeah, and I've said it over and over, but we've been better all year long away from home. You know?
Yeah, they at one point, I don't know if you were paying attention, but one of the announcers went up to the coach and was like, "What do you think the secret is to being so good on the road?" And that it's this canned question. It sounds like it's coming from a talk show host. Mm-hmm. And then the way all sports people talk is funny, because it's always the same thing. Mm-hmm. They never actually talk to you. And anytime a microphone gets put in a sports person's face, whether it be a coach or a player, it's always the same thing. Well, we just we pay attention to the basics, and we play smart hockey. And I think as long as we're paying attention to those basics and playing smart hockey, we have ourselves a good game. I'm just laughing the whole time. Like, you didn't even begin to answer the question, dude.
Well, the main thing when you watch like a coach, like after a game, coaches will talk. The number one go to like saying in the NHL is, "Yeah, we played a good game, but that's a good team over there. They got a good team over there." Like the main one. You can see every coach in the whole league. Almost every interview, he's going to be like at some point, "Well, that's a good team over there. We played our game, but that's a good team over there."
Yeah. It's funny. Sports people always they just say the same shit. I mean, they're not public speakers. There's no reason they should be able to get up there and like give you the philosophical breakdown of why the game's being played the way it is. They just know how to win.
It's like wondering why a UFC fighter's interview comes off as a little barbaric. It's like, well, he's a kind of a little bit of a barbaric motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're the same way. I mean, I could do a UFC interview right now. I want to thank my mom. Just had a baby, and I want to say, God, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
And I did this for my baby, and I'm a father now, and I want to set a good example for my baby.
And then they'll be like, whatever weight class they're in, they'll be like, 145, look out.
Yeah. I'm coming for you.
For you, baby.
I'm coming for you.
He points
man.
Serena, daddy's coming home. And then fucking over.
Is this the back page you're drawing now?
That's what I'm working on today. I got my cover banged out yesterday, and now I'm just slowly chipping at it, man.
Did you get it all colored and everything?
I got it. Yeah, I got it all colored. I got it. I got a little bit of just like not like color stuff. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do other than the people. If I'm gonna do anything more behind them, as far as like there's some scenes in the book where when the lump gore is destroying everything, there's like a shitload of fire and stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide, do I want to add some of that in, or do I just want to kind of leave it the way it is? And then the other thing I'm trying to decide is how do I want to do my how do I want to do like my name, not my name, but the name of the book and all that shit on it. Do I kind of want to slap it on it, kind of almost like a graffiti style, where it's just like kind of tagged on top of everything, or do I want to kind of put it above the image, and have it a little bit more of like an actual looking kind of like label looking thing, like do I want so all that's like just layout issues I'm trying to figure out now. But I got the
layout's weird. What were you gonna say?
But I got like the gist of the art done on it, now it's just kind of deciding how I want to kind of, what would you call that, I guess, like the branding or something, I don't know, like
yeah it's your layout.
Yeah,
just call it your layout.
Yeah, but that's all I'm trying to figure out now is how do I want the logo to look on it? How do I want my, all the text stuff and stuff like that.
What's crazy is no matter how many of those I've done, and I've done the layout, title matter and all that for a bunch of movies, dozens of books and comic books now. And no matter, it never gets like some of them will just accidentally be easy, like by chance, by luck, but most of the time every single one of those is its own challenge. It almost never just falls together super quickly and easily. Trying to figure out the different color variations, what color title pops best against the color scheme that you have for your cover, and the layout placement where your name or where the title of the book goes, like how to lay all that out. It usually takes me about 2 hours to really fuck with it, change fonts, change colors, change placement, and really find the spot that I like for my covers.
Yeah, and that's where I am right now. It's like I got everything. I just gotta like get everything where I'm happy with all of it,
Yeah, I've had some that have been such fucking nutbusters. I've done like 10 different iterations and ended up never finding one I was really satisfied with. I just eventually gave up and said, this is fucking good enough.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want it to take. I don't want to be too picky, but it's also like I think me and you have said before. Like you only get to put these out once, So like I guess I could always like go back and do like an alternate cover, but that kind of seems like a little bit. I'd rather just take my time and get it right. It's really hard. It's really hard for me because I'm so excited to have it finished, and then now I just want to rush.
Right.
Fucking be like, here it is, But I'm trying to be patient and put out the best like book I can, because this is my first book, and there's I know that like there's things that I can do, better, and things that I can advance at, and but really, dude, when I look at this book, like I'm pretty proud of it for being my first one and for never doing this before. I know there's a lot of ways I can grow and a lot of things I still have to learn and like a lot of things I can get better at. But when I was looking through it last night, I was like, it's not bad it's way better than the first music thing I ever put out.
Well, and I've always been, and I've talked about it on this show before, is I like to fail publicly. I like to be accountable publicly, and it's much more. I'm much more worried about my word, like going back on my word that I haven't finished a project when I said I was going to finish it, than I am about making a bad thing. So for me, this comic book is the same exact thing. There's so much I still have to learn, so much I still have to work on, so many ways that I need to grow as an artist and as a comic book storyteller. But this first project, I learned so much. Like going back to, I could barely draw a picture. And some people would say I can still barely draw a picture, but I could barely draw a picture at the beginning of the, first page of the first issue of this comic, and I was scared to fucking death. And I spent so much time meticulously going over and over and over the artwork just to make sure each panel was at least, you know, like understandable. You could like at least coherent, even if it wasn't good art. At least you could see what was happening, and to the point now where it's just like I bang out some of these pages, and again, most people would still call this amateur level drawing, but I do it with no thought now. Like I can bang out like this page that I'm doing right here. I want to show you something. I'm gonna fix on my screen real quick. I brought this up. I'm getting ready to work on this page, and you know what I've shown you guys before that I drop in the pencils that have been scanned into a template for the printer. So this is exactly the, you know, if I turn this on, that red line around here is the cutoff bleed area of the template. So I make sure that my panels fall inside that cutoff area. And but what I've actually done today is like I didn't have a lot when I drew this page out. I only had this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I only had this for this page, and I don't know if this was my plan because the word bubbles are going to be fairly big. Word bubbles are going to be kind of like here and here. So the word bubbles are going to cover up a lot, but I still didn't draw any background into it. I just drew a horizon line. And so I sat down today and I was like, well, I probably should add some background to it. And just like in the 10 minutes before we went live, I added all this.
Yeah.
I sketched in a house, some trees, and several zombies on a sketch layer. Just, you know, and look how much better that makes that scene look.
It fills it up.
That gives that scene volume and depth. And even though most of it's going to get covered up with word bubbles, you're still going to have all that depth and volume to it. And that was 10 minutes worth of scratching. You know, I'll go in and make it look a lot better with my ink, but. That, you know, I could 7 months ago when I first started this project, this would have taken me days to sit here and erase and redraw and erase and redraw, because this is like forced perspective with Nixon and Hogan's feet and arms there. It's cocked to the side a little bit. This isn't a straightforward, you know, this isn't just two guys walking forward. No, this is cocked up. This is at like almost a little less than a 3/4 angle and cocked to the side, and the body parts are coming in at forced perspective. And that's not. I'm not saying that looks good, you know, for all those people, you know, all those actual artists watching this going like, dude, you fucking suck. I know I suck, but this is me learning. I learn publicly, and I'm just saying, you know, and I don't compare myself to anybody but myself. I never compare my work to other people's work because I'm not there yet. I'm proud of myself for being able to bang that in 10 minutes. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like we say. That's like I just said. I'm proud of this book for it being my first one. There's other people out there that would be like, I'd never put that book out, no matter what. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just all about doing it until you're happy with it, and then putting it out there, and people are gonna hate it, and some people will like it, and then that's all it will be. You know, like, but it's crazy how many people can't show what they do. You know, can't share the things that they work on and put so much time into, and then are too afraid to show them because someone might say it sucks, or someone will say that the whole idea is stupid, or, you know.
Yeah, it really is. And I again, I've said before on the show, and I've said many times elsewhere that I wish I could like bottle that and sell it. Mm-hmm. That ability to not be afraid of criticism, because criticism literally does not affect me at all. I do not care. You can stand in front of me and tell me everything I've ever done sucks, and I'll laugh and I'll point out the things that I think suck. Yeah, it does not bother me. Criticizing art to me, or anybody that says, you know, not even my movies, but just a movie. That movie sucked. It's like, or that music sucks. That doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
And a lot of people think that being critical of art or music or movies, that just specifically being critical and saying it's bad somehow makes their opinion validated. And for me, it's exactly the opposite. If you're going to trash something, you better have a really, really solid reason for trashing it, or else I'm probably going to think less of you.
Yeah.
as a critic of art, because most things don't suck in the way that you claim that they do. Like if you can't articulate why something is bad, you just say that's just objectively bad. I'm gonna laugh because art is completely subjective and nothing is bad. I used to say in high school to all the metalheads and rock and roll grunge heads and stuff that would just trash everyone else's music but their own. I would tell them like who was big. Hanson was big at the time. Those three brothers that would harmonize.
Oh yeah.
The Bop song that was super big on the radio. And yeah, that's a crappy pop song, and it was everywhere, and it was super trendy and mainstream. But those little kids they really worked on their harmonizing, and they were actually really good singers. So whenever I would tell, people would trash stuff, I'd be like, "What do you think of Hanson?" And they'd be like, "What the fuck? That's fucking gay. What are you talking about?" I'd be like, gay in what way, dude? Because those three kids can sing their asses off. I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I sit around and harmonize with my barbershop quintet, but you have to admit that that is a difficult type of music, and it requires a lot of practice and skill to get good at it. And just because that song is aimed at children and is really light and superficial doesn't mean that it's objectively bad. It just means you objectively don't like it.
Yeah, well, I know. I think about I'll say this, and I don't care what people think about it, but I like Justin Bieber. Okay. And I don't necessarily like his music, but
all right, everyone, that's been a good show, and we'll
no, I don't. What it is, man, is think about having to fucking be Justin fucking Bieber. Yeah. You got every fucking asshole on the planet is so jealous of you that they just hate you no matter what. You get shit talks nonstop, and then in reality, if you listen to that kid sing. The kid can fucking sing. Is it my cup of tea? No, but you can't sit there and be like that kid has no talent. The kid has a lot of fucking talent. You know what I mean?
Well, and again, that's what, and I've never listened to that dude because I think he's gay. But
yeah, well, that's what
I wouldn't.
Everyone thinks he's gay. Everybody.
But that's my again, if you push me into a corner and say explain why it's objectively bad, I would say the music that I've never listened to, I have no opinion on. Yeah. I don't like the kid rubs me the wrong way as a personality. Mm-hmm. I think he's braggadocious. I think that he acts spoiled and ungrateful for his success, and that's what turns me off about him. And so again, if you're going to say you don't like something, if you can explain why, I just don't like the kid's personality. He just comes off to me as a spoiled brat. That's at least an explanation, right? That's not, no, it's fucking gay because it's mainstream.
But I just think that the kid gets talked so much shit that you'd almost have to be a little cocky or you're gonna wind up in your bathtub dead,
Sure.
Because all he's trying to do is what he loves to do, and then you get so much hate thrown at you, and if you don't have a little bit of cockiness in you, it probably ain't gonna be very good,
Right. Right.
So that's all I think that kid takes so much. No, he's not a kid anymore, but the dude takes so much hate and so much. If you don't like the dude, just let it. He ain't really doing much that bothers you most of the time.
Right.
When I really changed my opinion on him was a few years ago. There was a video of him punching some dude in the face for running his mouth to him outside of some club or something, and I don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, good for him. Good
for
him, because how many times a day that he honestly probably could smack somebody and there'd be enough principle behind it to be like, that guy deserved it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I was like, good for him, man. Blast that dude,
Sure. Yeah.
So that was when I kind of changed the way I felt about him, because I was like, I bet there's 100 people a day that deserve to get blasted in the mouth from that dude,
Yeah. This has been a special episode of the Strangeville Steakhouse where Brad comes out as completely homosexual.
Yeah. The Bieber mania, dude.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what, and so so that was my attitude before I had ever done any art at all. That was just annoyed at my fellow metalheads that they were so close-minded about other styles of music, and that they seemed to take no notice or pay any appreciation to hard work, discipline, and practice. It was like either you play my music or you fucking suck and you're gay.
Dude, some
And
metalheads can be one of the most critical of all music fans. I feel like metalheads can be really, really where everything else is garbage except for metal. You know.
yeah, the rules only apply to my music, and everything else is gay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that rubbed me the wrong way early, just because I've always been kind of a philosophical thinker. I've always been more of a on the intellectual side of just reason, just trying to reason things out, why things are a particular way that they are. And I just never felt like my fellow music fans like understood why they even liked it. It was like they were into it for the social style of it. I like metal because I'm a metalhead, and metalhead has its own social connotations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like that was superficial. It was like you're calling like Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake bad music because it's like mainstream and superficial, but your reasons for enjoying metal music are really superficial.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have a lot of I didn't have a lot of friends, obviously. Um,
Yeah. Well,
people didn't like being confronted with that kind of logic and reason, especially when I was defending gay music.
I think the other night it was me and you were talking about how social media. How I get sick of seeing people. They'll do like when you do something nice, like doing something nice, do it like selflessly.
Right.
Don't do something nice and then make sure you post like a like a Facebook video that's like saw this bum in McDonald's and bought him a McChicken because he looked like a hungry bum, and then hashtag like pay it forward,
and expect praise for it.
And expect praise for it. Like I think that there's a lot of people that like they only view the things that they like as good. They only do things that are good to be viewed as good. They don't do anything like a lot like they don't do anything good just to be helpful or doing something good. They it's like a self-centered, the stuff I like is all that's good. I do things that are good so that people see that I do things that are good and think that I'm good. It's this weird self-absorbed,
Yes, sir. We live in a very self-absorbed culture that I don't particularly like, and I don't make a lot of friends because I pointed out people really just want to kind of go. They want to be a part of a tribe, and they don't want to be questioned for why they're a part of the tribe, and they certainly don't want to have to explain the principles behind their tribe or their reasons for wanting to be a part of it. It's just like, but bro, I'm wearing the T-shirt. Like that should be enough. Like here's the T-shirt though. Whatever that tribe may be, it's for our generation it was music, and I don't necessarily think that kids today are super into music the way we were into. It's other things. It's social media. It's different. It's different stuff that they consider tribal. A lot of it is identity based. They're gay, therefore all the principles that apply to all gay people apply to them.
Yeah. There's a lot of identity based things like even politics, all kinds of things that it's like this is how I feel and this is also how I am. It's like all.
Yeah, Facebook. One of the reasons I left Facebook was because it became entirely political. But I think a lot of the reason for that is the kids have all left Facebook, and mainly Facebook is for boomers to argue about politics with each other. The kids are off on Snapchat, TikTok, and Instagram. Instagram, while owned by Facebook, has grown immensely while Facebook dwindles. And even the people who own Facebook have publicly said that the future of social media is not Facebook.
No.
And one of those reasons is it just became such a just flooded with like boomer generation people just want to fight with their families. That's one of the things that would drive me crazy is like these people would come out of the woodwork from people I went to high school with, like the only reason my brother didn't beat your ass 25 years ago is because I told him not to. Like, what
What the fuck's going on?
Why are we having this conversation 25 years later?
Like,
and it's because we disagree. Because
you're so mad.
Well, what he was mad about was some political opinion I had on my Facebook that he somehow came across because one of his friends commented on it, and then this guy shows up in my comments talking about my brother would have beat your ass 25 years ago when we were in high school, but I told him not to. It's like, and that's relevant to this conversation about
this is what
whatever food stamps.
Yeah, this is what you're doing.
To $15 minimum. This is relevant to $15 minimum wage. How?
Yeah, we got a pretty rad society going on right now.
It's in trouble, my friend, and I don't know that there's any saving it.
Yeah.
My goal is to try to get out of it. Actually, I want to be self-sustainable. I want to have some kind of farmland.
Yeah.
Just small, modest, just enough for some chickens and a large garden, so that I can be self-sustaining and create my own food sources, and hopefully get off the grid entirely and do solar energy and propane.
Yeah, me and Amanda talk about that kind of thing all the time. Just like I'm fascinated with that. You ever read or see the documentaries and stuff about Into the Wild?
Oh yeah, I've seen Into the Wild. I read the book Into the Wild when it was first released. It was like a series of articles in a Nature magazine, and then it was compiled together into a book. And I read about it on some website, some news site had said that this new book was coming out about this kid that had died in the wilderness after trying to drop out of culture. I was like, well, that sounds interesting. So I bought the book and read that, and then I watched. The movie came out several years later. And it was a very faithful adaptation of the book.
Yeah, I'm fascinated with that story overall. I have there's a meme on the internet that I always laugh about that says I think about running away more as an adult than I ever did as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just don't have faith that any of the more I research into empires and societies and what brings about their eventual downfall, and how a superpower goes from a superpower into a declined period, like the USSR did in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear all of the red flags that signal the imminent collapse of a great society are present in Western culture, and especially in America. And once you reach decline, there's really not any coming back from it. You're pretty much there, and nothing's gonna, because all the big social problems that create decline, they can't be solved. They continue to escalate as time goes on, and no great culture has ever solved these problems. They just collapse and fall into decline.
Big disillusion that America's undefeatable, or America is too strong to ever fail, or but nothing's undefeatable. Not everything can fail. You know what I mean?
And all the great cultures from the Roman culture to, again, the USSR and all the other great societies in between, the Persian Empire and all those empires, they all what was Alexander the Great's was it the Mesopotamian culture society, great society, anyway, whatever, they all think that they're unstoppable, and for a period they're extremely unstoppable, but then the culture of decadence creeps in, and they liberalize everything, and everything becomes a social program, and we have to save this and we have to save that, and it all brings the whole thing crashing down. And that's just where it's just a point of fact. That's where we are in American culture, and there's not any saving us as a cultural superpower. The only thing we can really do as Americans is prepare for a time when we don't have the kind of economy that we have today. Not that our economy has even been great for the last decade, but it's still sustainable. There's going to become a period where it's no longer sustainable, and our government is not going to take care of us.
I was just watching this TED Talks the other day where this guy asked the audience. He said, "How many of you enjoy living in a democracy?" Every single person in the audience raises their hand. Then he says, "That being said, how many of you think that the democracy that we all live in is working?" None of them raised their hand. So it's like everybody, like all the stuff that you like, all the pieces that are there look good, but it's like something's not working the right way. It's like there's some disconnect happening because the system looks wonderful on paper, but something's causing things to not work the way it should work.
Well, and I could sit here and I could recommend a bunch of books like Pat Buchanan's Suicide of a Superpower. I could recommend a book called well, now I can't think of I can't think of any of them. Like, The Fate of Empires. Fate of Empires is another great book on the subject, and I could sit here and recommend all that, and I could do go into my talking points about what's wrong with the culture, but nobody cares. The point of the fact of the matter is, I think everybody can identify the fact that we are rapidly collapsing into two ideologies: the socialist ideology and the capitalist ideology, and there is, in my opinion, no reconcile between the two, and it will inevitably the capitalist culture will fall to the socialist culture, and then really, really, really bad things will happen to especially cities, because cities are far more reliant on government aid and government control than the rural. And thank God we're blessed enough to live in the rural, because we just by virtue of living where we live, we are at an advantage. When things really start to go bad, we are far more self-sustaining here in this part of the country than other parts of the country are. If you live in New York City or LA or big, liberal cities like Chicago, you're going to have a hell of a time. A hell of a time. And I don't envy any of those people and what they're going to have to go through once we really start to collapse into a socialist dictatorship.
Man, this show is really taking a turn from just looking at
I know, man.
we draw.
You got to keep me honest, brother. I'll get into this stuff every single day unless you get me joking about buttholes.
Yeah, I think it's a good mix, dude. In reality, the people that we are, we like to draw weird stuff and we like to joke around, but we also we aren't all day long just drawing buttholes. We do think about other things and talk about other things. And
well, I will say this: the people that know me, the people that came to this program knowing who I am, this is nothing new to them. They've been seeing me do this forever. But I especially feel bad for you and Amanda as you guys sort of learn my personality over these first few weeks we do this show, and we talk a lot every day. It's like, man, this guy's not nothing like I thought he was going to be. This guy's not an easygoing butthole joker at all. He's like a
butthole joker. No, dude, I like a good conversation. I like people that are opinionated. I'm not the kind of person that has to agree with every single thing a person says to be friends with them or to. I think that free speech is a huge important thing, and that we all should get to say how we feel and how we think. And
on this special edition of the Strangeville Stinkhouse, Brad comes out as a Nazi.
Right. It keeps going back there. But I'm not a Nazi, and I believe in.
But you believe in free speech. That's a dog whistle to Nazism.
I know, isn't that weird?
The only speech that you have to protect is Nazi speech. Everything else is great.
Yeah,
it doesn't need protected.
I don't. What was the thing about a while back where all those all those white supremacists met, and they all had tiki torches in their hand. Do you remember that?
Yeah, Charlottesville. It was a fucking shit show.
And then the tiki company had to come out and be like, we don't support,
Oh yeah, because everybody was thinking to themselves, I'm never buying tiki again. They're white supremacists.
Yeah, but
it's like
that's the link that they make. Like there's some like tiki like sponsors them and sends them all these
right.
It's like here you go for your here's some tiki torches for your hate party.
Yeah,
like,
it's that kind of stuff, especially the like corporate wokeism. It drives me nuts. I actually tweeted. I tweet trolled Fangoria magazine yesterday. They popped up in my newsfeed on Twitter, and I have to quit Twitter too. Like Twitter for me it's getting just as bad as Facebook was. But Fangoria is selling special edition gay Pride Month Fangoria T-shirts, which is the most fucking exploitive thing you could possibly imagine. Right? It's like all these big corporations are taking advantage of this what used to be like this fringe alternative lifestyle group of homosexuals that just wanted a place at the table, right? They just wanted to say we exist, and we have a right to our free speech. We have a right to our opinion, and we shouldn't get pushed back into the shadows of culture just because we're inconvenient, right? The idea of the Pride Parade and everything was. It came from, I believe, it was a genuine and worthwhile thing when it originated, and it's degenerated into corporate wokeism, where all these different corporations have to flaunt about how gay they are. And so Fangoria magazine's like Twitter logo is a rainbow F for Fangoria, and then they're trying to sell you mugs and T-shirts with the Fangoria logo in a rainbow, which is the most exploitive fucking thing, so disingenuous and so off the script from what Pride ever was intended for. And so I had to troll them. I just had to troll. That stuff makes me so mad. I had to troll them, and I trolled them like nobody. And then I left it blank, and it was like Fangoria magazine. I am sexually attracted to the genitals of the same sex. just to what I said was Fangoria, a horror magazine, or Fangoria, a magazine about horror. And then in big all caps, I said, I am sexually attracted to genitals of the same sex. It's like, that has nothing to do with horror movies.
I just watched this documentary the other night on I think it's called We Are Columbine. It's on I think I saw it on Hulu, and it's like a documentary made by Columbine like survivors, like kids and teachers and stuff that were in there when that happened.
Yeah.
They said they wanted to do it because they felt like they wanted to make sure they told the true story, and the best way to do that would be to do it by themselves.
Sure.
But they say that there's a part of it where I think it's like the guy that was the principal in the school at that time, and he says that the next day or the couple days after that Tommy Hilfiger vans showed up and started giving. It was like, sorry for your school shooting. Here's a Tommy Hilfiger shirt.
Yeah, just wear our gear. Wear our gear while you're on TV. Just wear our stuff.
You want the polo, or do you want the It's like I don't know. It just, to me, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, I'm sorry for everything you're going through. You want to put on a Tommy Hilfiger shirt when you're
and that's the thing is the millennial generation is so bought into corporate wokeism, they don't even understand it as anything. Like they think that we're like they think if I criticize Fangoria for selling a gay T-shirt that I'm homophobic. That it has anything to do at all with my opinion on gay people. It has nothing to do with gay people. It has everything to do with exploitation of a group of people, any group of people. If Fangoria had come out with a shirt that said "fuck yeah, I'm white," I'd be like, why Fangoria has nothing to do with ethnicity. Why are they celebrating any ethnicity? Black, white, Latino? There's
a lot of those companies, like the things they support, like the dudes behind the scene, they might not really support any of that, but they understand like that there's money to be made in things like this,
from the millennial generation. They know that these
support, and what it really is just support of profit. That's what they stand for, is profit.
Sure. Yeah.
What can we do to be able to make You know, we need to make like more money here, more money there. How can we appeal to this, base of people? How can we appeal to this base of people? How can we sell these people something? How can we sell these people something? They don't have any actual stance. They don't really. I mean,
no, there's no corporate fucking morality, but they're pretending to be woke and part of this part of this
the only thing
identity politics culture of the left, and they're just not. They're just a giant corporation that's trying to make as much money as they can by exploiting what so-called marginalized groups.
Yep, and being able to reach more people, get more fans, more people that will buy your stuff, more people that will look at your stuff, more.
And the thing is, it's like Fangoria magazine. If you want more people to read Fangoria magazine, write better articles about horror movies.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because a person that enjoys that stuff, if it's a good product, a person that enjoys reading articles about that stuff is going to read it, whether they're, no matter what race they are, no matter what sexuality they are. You're just going to appeal to them because your product appeals to them.
Right.
You don't have to. You don't have to like. You don't have to go that deep to.
Oh, it's just one of my pet peeves, man. It bothers me.
Hue and hate is terrible, but I also think that lying about support is terrible too. Like don't disingenuinely support something that just because you feel like.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we live in this culture where if you don't openly and constantly shout your support of so-called marginalized groups, then you are hateful. And it's like, dude, I can be so ambivalent and non-pulsed at your lifestyle, and it has nothing to do with hate. I don't give a shit if you're gay. I really don't want to know. Like, I really don't want to know about 90% of gay people's sex life because it's because it's gross. Not because it's gross because gay people are gross. It's gross because those individuals are not the kind of people that I want to know about their sex life.
I don't really want to know. Most people that I meet, like, I can do without hearing about their sex life, no matter
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I guess I should have phrased it that way. Yeah. I don't want to know about 99% of people's sex life. I don't want to know about you, gross ass. I don't want to know about you. I don't want to know what you're doing in your bedroom. That's too much information.
Oh, yeah, I don't care. Like, if that's all you have to talk about, then like, just call somebody else.
Well, and I've told gay people that before that sort of hang around my house, and they don't take too kindly to it. But again, I don't care, and they can call me a bigot, and they can call me homophobic all they want to. What I say to them is, you're more than what you do with your dick, dude. Yeah. I do not give a fuck that you're gay. In fact, all you're doing by telling me you're gay is simplifying your entire existence down to what you put your dick in, and I don't give a fuck what you put your dick in. No. I've never asked you that question, and I never will ask you that question. No. But again, that into this culture and this generation, that's considered homophobic because I have to celebrate it. I have to be like, yes, queen. Yeah, you suck that dick.
You get it.
Suck that dick hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hope that if you're gay or any sex and you're going at it, like, I hope you're smashing the shit out of it. But I don't care to like. We don't have to tell each other all the time. We don't have to hear it all the time. It doesn't have to be the only thing you are. It doesn't have to be.
That's my big pet peeve is like when you make it your identity, you're selling yourself as an individual short. Yeah. You are so much more than who, than not even who you have sex with, but the type of genitalia that you are attracted to.
And it's more than that.
It's so irrelevant.
You're more than just who you vote for. You're more than just. Yeah. There's so many things that people just. It's like where there's that weird dumb vampire movie Twilight where they like imprint. There's so many things that people imprint on where it's like, nope, this is who I am, this is what I am, this is my everything. Yeah.
And it's like we were saying earlier, it's because people are so tribal and they stick to that one tribe, and they think that they adhere to all of the tenets of that tribe, of the rules of the tribe, and that is the end of the story. They don't question it. They don't even want to think themselves, why am I like this? They just say, this is my style, man. This is my style.
And people want to belong to something. They want to be part. They want to be
right.
And then they just it's like you said earlier. I watched this guy on YouTube, and he had an opinion about why the Blues play good sometimes. And
so now that's my opinion.
And that happens so much. Because I think so many people have, you'll hear something, and there is so much nobody really knows anymore. Do I trust the media? Do I not trust the media? What media do I trust? It's like read an article from every different outlet and throw it in a blender and then put it back. And then try to put together what's true. There's a lot of, like, you don't know what's true and what's not anymore. So then then people settle on, okay, I believe this outlet, I watch.
Yeah, I'll just believe everything this says.
And then there's so much like distrust that people have a hard time forming their own. I mean, whenever people form their own opinions, the way they're going to get their best opinion is if they get a bunch of truth about things and then are able to kind of decide how they feel about that,
Right.
But whenever they get like 5 or 6 different skewed views of something thrown at them, and then they have to digest that and decide how they feel about it. And also, I think a lot of time in their head, there's always this, do I even believe this information?
Right.
And then so then their opinion always kind of turns out, wrong. If every history book you read, all the dates are wrong and everything's wrong in that book, then as you're going to go on in your life, knowing history, but knowing it all wrong,
Yep.
There's a big importance to the truth. And that's why, some of this problem here, dude, like there's no way to get around saying it, that like journalism has like completely failed us. We no
longer have journalism. We have activism on both sides.
That's what I'm saying. There's no more truth seekers. What it seems like is there's people that are just trying to push their agendas, and they'll tell whatever story needs to be told to do so.
Yeah, propagandists.
No more true. Like back in the day, journalists were guys that went out there and they sought that truth no matter what, and they were going to tell us that. Yeah.
Investigative journalism.
Yeah, but now it's not that, dude. Now it's like you just said, it's propaganda. It's a way to kind of, well, this guy told this story. How come we can tell this story? It will spin it a little bit, Yeah,
we'll tell it the other way, and our people will believe us, and their people will believe them. And that's what I mean when I say that the divide between the culture is just it's never been. We live in 2 bubble universes.
Yeah, there's a forgotten part of it that I think you see on the news. What you get to see is these people that believe right and these people that believe left. Okay, but I really think there's at least as big a part in America as both of those sides, and maybe even a bigger portion of America that doesn't know what to believe and has completely disconnected from it. You know how many people I know, they're like, I don't vote because I don't fucking care. Or I don't vote because I don't vote because it's fake. I don't vote. Like there's a shitload of people that are in that boat where they're just like, this is a fucking mess and I'm helpless in it, and I'm gonna do my own thing until the fucking fires start, and I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna hide.
And that's why Illinois just raised the gas tax double.
Yep.
Because nobody will engage and vote. So we get exploited by politicians that know that they can pass any policy they want to because there's no repercussions for it. J.B. Pritzker, our new governor, there will be no election time repercussions for these crazy laws he's passing because not enough people care to even vote. They're so checked out and what you call black-pilled that they just don't even care to even try to engage in the process. And I tried this last the 2018 elections. I tried to fire up some of my friends and get my friends involved, and I swear to you, I had a guy literally flip out on me. Friend I've had my whole life started screaming at me, just shut up, just shut up, just shut up about it. I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And he would not even hear me as I was warning him about this motherfucker and what was going to happen in this state if we didn't keep him out of office. And here we are.
Yeah, but it kind of.
And now all.
What's that South Park where it's like they want you to decide between a total douche and a shit sandwich?
Yeah.
That's what happens. They only give you these. It's like make decide.
Make your choice between being fucked or being fucked harder.
Yeah. You want it in the mouth or the butt. Yeah. They don't. There's no good options, and you have to decide: do I want to be shit on this way or this way? Do I want to? It's a big fucking fuck show, man.
right about that.
But he gave us legal weed, and that's some big important fucking thing apparently.
Sure did, and all the stoners I know that I talked to said, "Who did what?"
Right, because one thing that you can't find here in Illinois is weed.
Right, exactly. I was like, how is your life going to change for the better now that weed's legal? And the answer is always the same: weed's legal.
Just something else.
because here's the thing: stoners are a lot of time they don't smoke pot because of any other reason other than it's this counterculture thing that they do. It's their identity, the way being gay is other people's identity. And by telling them that like it's not against the law anymore, bro, you don't have to hide that. You can literally sit on the sidewalk and smoke that. They're still going to hide and they're still going to play cops and robbers because that's their identity. Their identity is men. Fuck cops, bro.
Yeah, well, it seems like you either got guys like that or guys that just already don't care and are trying to light up a pinch hitter in McDonald's because they just give zero fucks already,
Right.
Right. But it's just something else for them to tax the fucking shit out of. And
oh yeah, get ready for Marlboro. Get ready for Marlboro marijuana that is addictive and causes cancer.
Yeah.
And how progressive are we? Yes,
something else for
we
them.
did it, gang. We did it. We made weed legal.
Like they did something for us, Yeah. Like they did something for us. And I think all drugs should just be fucking legal because I mean anybody that wants them has them. What in the fuck is the point? What's the point of this? Just so you can lock more people up and waste a bunch of fucking money chasing fucking people around doing shit that they're gonna do no matter what. Like.
Yep. I agree.
It's what do they call that? Natural selection? Is that what it is? It's like I'm not a person that I know there's people out there that are like every life matters, and I believe that to some level, but at a certain point too, it's like when you're making the decisions that put you into the ground and you make them over and over and over, and you don't go get help and you deny help and things like that, like. How much time are we supposed to? How many times are we supposed to try to help? How many times are we supposed to intervene? There comes a point where it's like everyone decides their fate.
Well, here's the thing: you can say that lives are precious and we need to save and help everybody. Here's the one organization that is never going to help people, and that's the federal government or the state government. Like you are not going to get. You are never going to get laws that are lenient and kind to drug offenders because that's just not the way the government works. That's not the way the law is set up. It's exploitive to addicts, and it's tragic. And I have a lot of opinions on the subject about rehabilitation being the number one. Instead of incarceration, rehabilitation should be pushed on addicts, and you should and we do have these like weak little like mandatory rehabilitation stays if you want to get your sentence cut down and this and that, and you can serve less time if you do this. But we really, really, really just take their money. Really, when you get caught up in the drug legal, when you get caught up in drug court, you are bleeding money for years. Yeah. I have a friend who was involved in drug court, and it took him 10 years to expunge a felony he got related to drugs. 10 years of paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to drug court and different drug court related fines and stipulations that required him to just pay all this fucking money. And he stuck it out and he did it. But you know how many people that are addicted to drugs can look forward to 10 years later to see that they can now get a regular job again and carry on with their life? Almost no addict is going to do that.
That could put so much pressure on them that they could become an addict. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think there should be much more of a focus and emphasis put on rehabilitation and not on incarceration and monetary fines. My personal opinion. But man, this has been such a bummer episode.
I don't think so, but you know where those fines go to though. Those fines are another. That's just like another tax. It's more government.
Yeah, they go to the judges being able to go play fucking golf.
Yeah, own another house or own another car or own.
Yeah. It's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. And that's coming from somebody that doesn't do drugs.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I draw stoner comics, and I guess that breaks a lot of people's hearts that I don't do the drugs that I make fun of. But I mean, I really am making fun of them.
Yeah,
In a loving way. I mean, I take the piss out of stoners in the Nixon and Hogan comics, but I do have a love for stoner culture. Like I do love them. I just don't participate in them, and I am taking the piss out of them. These guys are ridiculous, but I think stoners are funny. I think they're cartoony in their culture.
I don't have anything against weed at all. I personally don't smoke weed, but I don't have anything against weed, you know. But I just think that it being legalized here in Illinois wasn't a gift to us, you know. It was
certainly shouldn't have been a priority compared to the nightmare kind of financial situation Illinois is in.
Yeah. But it's like, I feel like it was one of those things that if he promised it, he could pull a bunch of voters, and so he promised it, and now he's our governor, you know. So
pulled a bunch of voters.
Pulled a bunch of fucking voters. Yeah, it works, you know, because nobody will go down and vote for topics that matter, but you tell them that they're going to legalize weed, and they'll head out to that fucking election box, you know.
Dude, I forgot to draw this dude's feet.
Oh yeah,
he's just a floating zombie. All right, well, I rocked out that panel.
Cool, man.
See what you got done.
This big weird gnome head. I actually drew two of them while we were sitting here, just to kind of. I don't know how it's gonna turn out yet. Where the other one even is, man? It's in this book somewhere, bro. Yeah, here's the other one I drew. Just a little more. This other guy. I wanted to maybe have a little bit of a fatter head.
They're both mustachioed.
Yeah, all the gnomes that I seem to draw are have mustaches. I'm a fan of the mustache, you know.
I noticed.
Yeah.
Well, brother,
Barfin Jr.
I think we're about done. Let me go over and grab the chat. See if anybody's. We haven't really had a lot of chatter going on in the chat this week.
I think the first week people were like, "Man, we'll check these guys out," and then this week people are like, "Oh, we hate these guys. You know, we fucking hate them."
These guys are not cool. Yeah. These guys are a bummer. They just talk about bummer shit in hockey all the time.
Right, bummer shit in hockey. Yeah, I'm going to show you guys something real quick. I think it'll be kind of I'll show it to you too, Kevin. I know me and you have talked about it a little bit, but I know I've talked about my dad on here a few times being an artist, and this is a book of some of my dad's artwork that I have. This is some of his more, I guess you would say, like tame stuff. He's got some stuff that's really, I guess you could say, vulgar. You know, some more. This is tame, kind of cool, different. It's like a flying clown dancing on a broom.
Oh yeah.
My dad.
Oh yeah, these are cool.
Big into stippling. He uses lots of stippling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fucking cool, dude.
This I don't know if you can see this hot rod dude right here. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of see some of your style in there.
Yeah, that's what it took me a long time to because I would pay so much attention to the way that my dad could draw. That look at that. There's a big he calls that the horned queen. You see that?
Oh man, yeah, it's amazing.
That gets a little more into the kind of detail that he could do. This is a big the moon snake spewer.
Oh yeah.
But it took me a long time to kind of get to where I focused more on what I was good at, not just try to draw the way that he draws, because on some level, like I'm not gonna. This won't be my best if I keep trying to do this. But then I used to have a real hard time getting away from. I wanted to draw realism, and I'm not good at it. And then everything would come out looking cartoony. And then once I kind of embraced the cartoony is when I feel like I started to kind of get find my own groove a little bit, you know?
Yeah, you can. It's cool though, because you can definitely see the influence. Your dad had a huge influence on your style, and then you have morphed it. And it's exactly what I was talking about, I guess, yesterday or the day before, about we are an amalgamation of our different influences. And if you hadn't shown your dad's art there, nobody would have known how much of an influence his stuff is on your stuff.
Yeah, he's a huge. I think about my dad's art like daily, and think about just how like I'd sit at the table and just watch him draw, and that's kind of what's cool too. I think I sent you a picture last night. Like last night, me and my son sat at my art table and drew. You know,
Yeah.
My oldest son he's starting to draw comic books now. He's got a couple characters that he's messing with. He's got a dude called Bacon Boy, and it's like different. Bacon Boy is just like a stick of bacon with legs and arms, you know.
That's great.
Well, it's like the thing that moves on, you know. When you watch, you're like,
Yeah,
damn.
those to me, those are the like most precious moments, man. That's what life is all about. Like that gift that you have right there, that evening you got to spend with your boys last night, and then sort of influence their imaginations and artistic, try to inspire their artistic side. Man, those moments are what it's all about, dude.
Yeah, it was great.
You can't buy that. There's no amount of money in the world that can buy that experience.
Just sit there and draw monsters with my boys, and then watch the Blues win the cup. It was an all right, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. All right. Well, we pulled it out of the gutter and ended on a nice inspirational note. We'll see you guys all. We got one more this week. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Please subscribe. We're back to 499 subscribers.
Boom.
So we're almost there. Only one more subscriber hits that big 500. And hit the like button. Share this with your buddies if you like what we talk about and if you like what we draw. I am 20 pages into my inking already, almost halfway there.
Getting it, dude.
I'll be smashed through the inking phase hopefully by next weekend, and then I get to start my color flatting phase. Or no. I always skip the lettering phase. I have to do the lettering, then the color flatting phase. But my lettering phase only takes me a couple of days. That's why I always forget it, because I can do like 10 or 15 pages a day lettering.
Yeah. My book should be pretty much completely edited and ready to go. I would think by the end of next week, I should be able to say that it's like good to go, you know. So
hell yeah, brother, hell yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we'll do lots of days on your Indiegogo campaign. We'll try to raise you a bunch of money.
I'm getting sooner because I wanted to have the cover and all that, because they want you to insert all that into the thing. So that's some of what I wanted to hammer all that out. I might try to get that thing set up, midweek or something next week.
Sounds good. All right, gang. Like, subscribe, and stay strange.
Stay home.